Welcome back to the Movie Man. Today I will show you a 2019 Chinese comedy fantasy film, Perspective Eyes. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. The movie starts with a 20-year-old guy named Qing who is regarded as unlucky by everyone. No one wants to befriend him because they believe Qing always brings bad luck. In the past his mother died after giving birth to him. When he was 8 his father developed a heart disease and died. Qing now has only one brother, but he too is a cancer patient who's currently admitted in the hospital. One evening, Qing is walking back home when he notices a thief running with a girl's bag. Springing into action, he tries to catch the thief but ends up knocking out the girl, indicating how unlucky he is. Following this, he pursues the thief, and along the way he encounters an elderly man who's burning some papers. The man notices him and summons him closer. After a brief conversation with Qing, the old man discovers that he's actually his heir whom he's been searching for years. Moreover, the old man appears to be endowed with supernatural abilities which he decides to pass on to Qing. He also uses cognitive magic on him, claiming that he's giving him golden eyes that will help Qing only if he uses them for good, or else he will be destroyed. The process seems to be too tiring, so Qing collapses. The next morning he awakens in the middle of the street looking perplexed. On the other hand, we are introduced to a fat guy named Liu who is Qing's only friend. Liu's grandmother owns a small bookstore where Qing frequently goes to help. In the next scene we see an auctioneer conducting an auction for a precious dragon stamp of the Qing dynasty, but before presenting the treasure on stage, a lady named Etiquette replaces the original stamp with a fake one. She then conceals the original stamp inside a book and glues it beneath the table, intending to retrieve it after the auction concludes. A short time later, a cleaner finds the book and considers it garbage, prompting him to throw it away. Coincidentally, the book arrives at Liu's grandmother's bookstore and Qing purchases it. When he gets home, he eats with his sister-in-law who's made dumplings for him. In the meantime, he notices his sister-in-law's sadness and soon discovers that it's due to their poor financial situation. It's revealed that his sister-in-law handles all of the expenses, including the house rent, Qing's tuition fee, and his brother's hospital bills. After learning this, Qing decides to take on a part-time job to help her with the financial burden. However, she tells him to disregard everything and just focus on his studies. Shortly after, he enters his room and takes out the book he bought from Liu's bookstore. To his shock, Qing discovers that he possesses a superpower, as one of his eyes can see through things. He also finds the original dragon stamp inside the book but is unaware of its rarity. After a while, Shancheng goes to Liu, who takes him to a rich person named Tong Guobian. He apparently has a hobby of collecting antiques and knows a great deal about stamps. Upon arriving there, they show the dragon stamp to Guobian, which surprises him for a moment. He realizes that he was duped in the previous auction, as he paid 800,000 yuan for the duplicate stamp. In order to confirm, Guobian summons an expert and makes him run some tests. Guobian behold, the stamp is proven to be authentic. Following this, Guobian asks for a price, to which the two respond 400,000 yuan. Hearing this, Guobian smiles and happily provides them with 400,000 yuan in cash, which shocks them. Guobian also believes that Qing is lucky for him, so he invites him to a stone gambling contest in Yunnan the following week. However, the latter can't decide right away. At the hospital, Qing's sister-in-law pleads with the medical professionals for some more time to pay the hospital bills, but the doctor refuses. Shortly after, Qing arrives there and pours the money on the doctor's desk. He then arrogantly asks if this amount is sufficient to treat his brother, but the doctor responds that his brother must undergo surgery which costs 1 million yuan. When he realizes that the money is still insufficient, he goes to the lottery shop and uses his power to see through the cards, only to discover that the rewards are very small. Following this, he recalls Guobian's invitation and goes to his place in hopes of making money. In the next scene, both of them fly to Yunnan and are welcomed by a well-known sail maker named Mangshi. After sharing an expensive tea at Ming's place, Qing heads to the restroom, but as he walks out he comes across the same girl he knocked out previously. Wasting no time, he starts apologizing and then convinces her to come to his hotel room. The girl appears to be impressed by the lavish surroundings and then introduces herself as Yu Yingxu. Unfortunately, Qing misinterprets her and believes that she wants to make out with him. He then starts flirting with her and the two end up having a pillow fight. The next day, Qing, Guobian and Ming go to the stone market. As they walk, Ming explains to them about the stones and the way to analyze them. According to him, whoever finds a precious jade inside the stone will be wealthy because jewelers will make immediate offers. Afterwards, Qing uses his power to locate the stone with a jade. They all then proceed to the store, whose owner appears to be a dark-hearted man named Bei Xingjun. After this, they buy a stone and have it cut, only to discover that it's a red jade. When Bei notices this, he seizes the stone and declares that it's not for sale. Enraged, Ming confronts him, but Bei offers to settle the argument with a gambling match. Everyone is taken aback by the strange challenge, but Qing, who's confident in his abilities, agrees to proceed. As the group returns, they're approached by a group of armed gangsters. Qing and Yu run in one direction, while Gobin and Ming run in the opposite direction. Unfortunately, Yu is a bit slow, so she is caught by a gangster. She's then about to be attacked, but right then Qing comes in between. He manages to kick the gangster and take Yu away, but in the process he injures his hand. Upon reaching the hotel, Guobin asks Ming for the reason why Bei despises him so much. To which Ming responds that they were college friends and are now business rivals. Hearing this, Gobin believes Bei is the one who sent the gangsters. On the other hand, Yu looks after Qing and their bond appears to be growing stronger. The next day, Qing takes Yu to a mall for shopping, and while she's trying on clothes, Bei's men abduct Qing. He's then taken to a car where Bei offers him 1,000,000 yuan in exchange for working for them. However, Qing believes it's wrong, so he refuses the offer and prepares to leave. However, Bei stops him and gives him an ultimatum: if he doesn't lose the challenge, he will never see his hospitalized brother as well as his friends ever again. Hearing this, a concerned Qing rushes to the mall in search of Yu, but she's nowhere to be found. This makes him realize that Bei was not messing around with his threats. On the day of the stone gambling competition, Qing is in a dilemma as he can't break Gobin and Ming's trust and also can't ignore Bei's warning. Later, all the gamblers analyze and select a stone, write their symbols on it and hand it to the judges. During this, Ming receives a message containing images of Qing with Bei. Assuming that he's being betrayed, he quickly informs Gobin. However, when the two confront Qing, the latter promises that he's not going to betray their trust. He then uses his power and discovers a special stone. At the same time, Yu arrives and claims that she left the mall yesterday after not being able to locate him. Seeing her, Shunjing finally becomes relieved. A few moments later, the jury begins to cut the stones. While cutting by stone, they discover a rare diamond-shaped jade. Ming is saddened by this, believing that Bei will win the competition as it is a precious jade that's used to carve Buddhist artwork. It's later revealed that Bei bribed the judges and chose the pre-selected stone in order to impress his boss Kate Hua. Meanwhile, Qing uses his golden eyes to examine his stone and confidently draws cut lines for the person in charge of cutting the stone. To everyone's shock, the stone turns out to be the rarest octagonal jade bead. This makes Qing the winner of the stone gambling competition, much to Bei's dismay. Later in the evening, Qing is with Yu when he presents her with a lovely bracelet. This makes her happy and she hugs him, and it's appearing that their bond is getting deeper and deeper. On the other hand, Bei is on a video call with his boss, who's berating him for losing the competition. Bei begs him for another chance and promises to deliver the dragon stamp to him. Hearing this, Kaido gives him one last chance, warning him not to fail. Elsewhere, Qing and his friends are at the auction for his valuable jade bead. The precious stone sells for a whopping 8,000,000 yuan, making him overjoyed. After the auction, Guobian walks onto the stage and displays 2 dragon stamps. He rips the fake one in front of everyone, emphasizing that there is only one dragon stamp. Following this, Ming invites all of them to a bonfire party to celebrate their stone gambling win. Unfortunately, while everyone is busy enjoying themselves, Gobin is kidnapped by Kaito's men. Qing and his friends soon learn of this, but they are clueless on what to do. Just then Qing receives a call from Kai Chao informing him that Go Bin will only be released in exchange for the dragon stamp. Afterwards Bei visits his boss's place and apologizes for his failure. Kaido claims that he lost 80 million yuan because of Bei and orders him to pay back in order to save himself. Bei reveals that the dragon stamp is actually a map that leads to a hidden treasure worth billions of yuan. He also mentions that Kaido, being a foreigner, is not permitted to enter the treasured area, so he proposes to do it himself. Unfortunately Kaido doesn't fall for it and instead he laughs and stabs Bei for being clever. On the other hand, Qing and Mang sneak into Kaido's place in order to rescue Go Bin. They work together to defeat the guards and make their way inside. Unfortunately they notice that Go Bin is in a cage with a time bomb attached to it. Qing tries to defuse the bomb with his powers but he's unable to focus. Just then Kaido walks in and holds them at gunpoint demanding the stamp. Qing innocently obliges and asks him to release Go Bin. However Kaido refuses, claiming that only the dead keep their promises. Just when all hopes seem to be lost, Yu distracts Kaido with her bracelet and the other two grab his gun. Simultaneously the police also arrive and arrest Kaido and his gang. In this way the bad guys are finally put behind bars. In the final scene Qing sees the same old man who informs him that he's imparting the theory of seeing the past, which is another skill of Golden Eyes. That was all of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Click the like button and subscribe to watch more videos like this, and don't forget to turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.